Oh, great, 84, 65% done.
Legend. Like 15 years.
Updates, updates.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. While this machine is updating, short battle plan of today. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
We have a few things to do, and the idea is today show you some very important tools on the ArcMap for desktop world, and then we are opening up our web browsers and running pretty much similar operations in the online environment. And you will experience a level of excitement, and you will experience a level of frustration. Excitement as, wow, this is really cool, online part. And the level of frustration, damn it, why didn't he deliver that earlier to us? Yeah? Damn it is a technical term in the GIS world. The reason why we're doing this is because you need to be somewhat exposed to, don't play with that camera.
Okay.
Did you switch it off?
No.
You sure? Really sure?
You haven't turned it off?
No.
It's running.
The reason why we're doing this is because right now the industry is in a changing mode. It's moving more and more to the online world, but still, if you get hired and work for a company, they probably have that still installed on the laptops as a fixed install, like we do here on the PCs. Yeah. So there's a transitioning going on worldwide. And the idea is to teach you guys the desktop version, so you're actually familiar with doing it on a fixed machine in front of you, and then have experience with the online world. Yeah? And then after that class, usually what I do is I keep the accounts open, students' accounts, for at least till the end of the semester, like Christmas, New Year's, something like that. And I give you extra bonus credits so you can experience more and play with this. Yeah? That's kind of the idea on exposing you to the online world. So that's what we're going to do today. We have not done yet selections and buffers, and that's the main part what we're going to do today. Yeah? Getting you a little bit more familiar and a little bit more comfortable with actually the data you have in front of you. We're going to use primarily two sets today. One is that McDonald's table we had last week, but we never really touched it at the end. And we're going to use geocoding. Geocoding, remember from the lecture, online recorded, is the ability to use real-world references and take a data table with addresses or lat long or XY coordinates and put that on a map. Yeah? Think about the yellow pages in one hand, and the map with funny looking dots on the other one. And every dot is the representation of an address, a company, or other data in that yellow pages book. Yeah? So we're doing this again, geocoding, one and the other way on the desktop version. Then we're going online and doing it the online version. All those paths are fine. Some are a little bit more complicated, some are a little bit more easy. The easiest way you actually have to pay for. Yeah? That's pretty much what we're going to do. Today is a tight ship. Yeah? It's easy little steps, but there are a lot of them. Yeah? There's a lot of repetition. So if we have one or two students that miss maybe one point, I can go in. If you miss multiple points, I still can help. But at some point of time, we videotape it, I have office hours, I'm more than happy to come and help outside of the classroom. Because I really need to get you done with the basics of ArcGIS for desktop today. That is the variations of geocoding, selections, and some proximity measures and following selections with buffers. Yeah, like, hey, 1 mile distance from that office or 1 mile distance from that location. Can we do something about that? Yeah? Because I want to dedicate a little bit more time today for the online part. And next week we're doing pretty much online business stuff and a little bit exposure to 3D. Like how would you be able to run a 3D block model like within 5 minutes time? Yeah, even animation and stuff like this. I thought to do it today because exciting. I got my hands on all building footprints in this county yesterday, a thing I have been working on for almost half a year. And I literally geeked out yesterday and went into the drooling abyss of GIS and didn't prep the 3D part because I prepped the other second 3D part for you next week already. Yeah? Really cool stuff. All right, that's about it. Let's fire up the machines, go on Blackboard, download the data if you don't have it. There's actually new data on Blackboard as well. And if you do not hear me the right way, please let me know by language and grammar and pronunciation. Yeah? Because I kind of flooded my sinuses yesterday by accident, so I'm like running around like a big head cold. Hashtag things that happen.
It's the geocode sample, right?
Yeah, that DBF file. Because we'll be playing a little bit with data management today as well. If this machine would load, speak of machine load, this one too. All right, everyone log in, get Blackboard running, and you don't have to open it. Just download it. It's a special kind of file, so give me one. Give me one. My old supervisor and friend and mentor always said, "Hold your horses." He also slapped me when I did do his things when I got on the shoulder. You know this NCIS stuff with slapping my back? Yeah, got to see.
You said you're gonna need the McDonald's, right?
Yeah. So if you don't have it complete, best way to do this is download the digitizing file from last week, and that single DBF.
Just the McDonald's folder.
One. Geographic information systems. And then here on my course content, looks slightly different from what you guys see, but here in the bottom is geocode sample. Click on this guy. Should actually, yep. And open it. Show in folder, sorry, show in folder. Yeah. And do I have Alright. So you can write this over in your put this in the folder you used last week. You can separate those easily. If not, do a clean cut. So what I'm doing is I take the geocode sample.dbf file and then drag and drop it actually over into my F2 2017 digitizing folder. Yeah? This is one of the very few operations I'm allowed to do with my file explorer. Yeah? All right. Everyone on the same page? Alright, please go to Blackboard, download the file called geocodesample.dbf and put it in your work folder from last week, the digitizing folder.
What if we didn't take that?
Well, then download the digitizing folder, unpack, extract, and put them together. You're not breaking a leg with that, it's just costing you a little bit moments of attention. Alright, got that? Then we fire up our catalog. And I do need to make a refresh. Alright, so in our catalog, again, we got new data and old data. What are we going to do when we get new data from someone?
Refresh.
Refresh, fine. What else?
Connect.
Check the data.
Check the data, validate the data, take a look at it, figure out what's going on. I just told you, I'm so excited that I got the building footprints. Open them up in our catalog before I sent the email for confirmation. Yeah, I got it. Open it up in our catalog, and beautiful, thousands of building footprints. No building height or estimated amount of floors in the attribute table. That means if I want to do that in 3D, like 30 foot versus a 100 foot building, I have a problem because I don't have the 30 or the 100 as data. So bounce back a few emails with the city, they don't have it. That means don't trust the data you get from someone. Bad example, but I'd like to have that relationship with those guys. But so in that case, the new thing we did is I'm going here on the preview tab, give me 1 moment, and click on Geocode Sample. And it pops up as a table. What about that? You already downloaded it. That was the third time we downloaded it. You can right click on it as well. Alright, if you have issues to download this guy here, what you also can do is you can right click on it and say save link as. Everyone got that?
Yeah.
Monica, you cool? Monica.
Dime. ¿Qué pasó? I got you.
Ich spreche kein Spanisch.
How do we know if we downloaded it correctly?
If you downloaded it correctly, you go into your download folder,
This one, right?
and download folder, and you should see the file like this.
That file on this folder.
Just thinking of the file.
It's like a white thing, right? Empty.
But this is not a zip folder, so we don't need to
No,
extract.
it's not a zip folder, nothing. It's just this one single file.
Ah,
And if you want to
132
join us in the
kilobytes.
first row or use classes,
Yeah,
I
that's the
need
one.
glasses. Okay.
That's the one.
I left it in my car. I have to go now. First
it's
break.
geocodesample.dbf. If you still have issues after taking 3 deep breaths, please use a jump drive and swap it with your partners to the left and the right. Okay? Everyone got that message? Thank you. Let's take a look at the data inside. Let's blow this up so you can see even more. Is it less contrast than last week? Or am I
So
getting
we're
it?
just gonna throw this in our catalog.
It's a little bit.
Danilo, you can actually see the last row. You can see that? I don't care if you can see exactly which number there is. I
That's what I don't.
want to make sure that you see if it's left or right line, and you see that there's a table in front of you. Alright?
You opened our catalog, right?
But I don't have the roundabout streets. I guess.
So if I look at the table here, geocode sample, I can skim through and I see, okay, I have a bunch of cryptic field names, yeah? But they're all populated, most of them are populated, yeah? also can take a look at the field names. I have parcel number, S und year. So we're dealing actually with assessors and parcel data. So this is the year when this assessment was done. Then we have different other values like delinquent value or land value, LND, val. And we have the amount of units. And you can see already that there's a 2 and a 1. Yeah? If I want to get just a feel on what do I have to expect, I can right click on the top here and say sort ascending or sort ascending. If I say descending, I can see how this works. Yeah? I get a feel on how many units maybe are on that property. Since we want to use this for geocoding, I would like to verify that my address is in place. If I look at this, yes, I have from left to the right, from the right to the left.
I don't get that table.
I have zip codes. Then I have a name, at least one name of a city. And then the important part is I have the field called physical address 1 that says, if you read this carefully, you have numbers and streets.
I'm on it. How can I use?
Yeah, I'll show
The
her how
file,
to
the
do it.
geo, whatever.
I'm saying.
Here. So what I'm going to do is
You can see the reservoir. Yeah.
That's the reason why you have to use you. Alright, so.
It's connected.
This one? Or you download that folder again. You can copy over, I would copy over this. Yeah. I would copy here this machine.
Yeah, I prefer to do it here because as I'm doing at home. Here. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. See, you put in your
Oh, yeah.
finger right underneath my phone, so I think the Sept doesn't make a difference.
No, I don't know how, it's because I just dropped it into the digitizing folder, and that's where it's at. Oh, it's not there.
That's a zip file. You have to extract that.
Random is
Alright. So we got this table done. Yeah? I need my notes. Alright. So I also have in my folder here from last week, I have my imagery data file. Remember that? I have my base map with Bahamas popping up first usually. Well, I'm going to open that one up. Double click it. Might take a while because I'm in preview, so it loads it first. But it's loading it for sure. What we're going to do now is we're going to explore the possibilities of the so-called XY event. Yeah? If you recall right, there are different ways to put data on a map. With the XY or lat long, I can put data from a table, not a shapefile because shapefile is spatially referenced. I can use just plain table data to display that on the map. And a really stress the fact I display XY data. It used to be called an XY event, now it's called display XY data. And there's a reason for that, because you have that table on one side, you have your map on the other side, and the map is pulling the XY to display. You're not creating a physical new file. You're not creating new data structures. You just look at it. Like, if this is your yellow pages, yellow pages, I'm just pulling this for display, like almost like just looking through it.
It creates a layer.
It creates a display. We will do the other way around too. So that different ways to do this. All right.
Which area is that? I know it's Bahamas, but
Nassau.
oh,
Let's start on Nassau. So, side planning class. Which hotel is that? Here you can eat something very nice, and coolest part of Nassau is actually about here.
Before hurricane.
They're still intact. Let's find Florida. How I'm going to do this? I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, you can hit escape something.
How do you get the base map? Do you have to go to?
No, I just double clicked on imagery WGS 484 here, and it popped up. Yeah. And I find my Florida. Use the magnifier class to zoom in. Read a little bit here the texture. Big Lake, Miami. I can't pronounce that. And I zoom in here with my envelope, left mouse button down while I draw this envelope window, zoom in more. And Port Everglades Airport, 595, and that should be about this area for campus. All right, so what I'm going to do now is, I'm tired of doing this all the time. Love the Bahamas, but I don't want to deal with the Bahamas all the time, that minute moving around the map. I'm doing a bookmark. I just call it Broward. And save. So every time I'm going to open up that imagery file again, I have actually now a bookmark and can pop it. No more zooming around and crazy map navigation. All right. Let's take a look at the other data we have. We did have in the McDonald's folder. In the McDonald's folder, we had a DBF file called mcdonalds.dbf. And if we look at the preview, we did that last week, we have 68 items total in our data table. Yeah, we have company names, address, but here, in this case, the address does not have its house number. So it's pretty much useless for us. If I want to deal with comparing all McDonald's in our area with a McDonald's in, let's say, Tennessee, that could work, because the geographic scale and the units of observation will fit, because I don't care if I compare, let's say, Nashville to Fort Lauderdale. I don't care if how many McDonald's are on Main Street. I want to know how many McDonald's I have in Fort Lauderdale. So I aggregate. Depending on the level of aggregation, I could go and geocode against Florida. The closest or the best accuracy I have is the zip code. I can't compare within the zip code then. That would be here, this part. But I can say the 23 compared to the 11 compared to the 21, I could actually now make a count how many McDonald's I have there. Yeah? So first rule for geocoding or similar processes, check if you have a complete address. That address does not need to be in one field. You can have fields for house number, direction, name, type. Yeah? You can have all these tokens and then combine them. Alright, so this is an XY event exercise. So if I go down there, I actually see latitude and longitude, or XYs. Good enough for me to put that on a map. Okay? How do I do this on a map? I will show you the complicated way first. No? Complicated way is I'm using an XY event. I will click here gently and drag and drop my table into the map. Two things happen if you do that. One, you don't see anything. Why is that? I just dropped the table into my map, but my map doesn't show anything.
It doesn't have features?
It's not in
No.
in this area.
The layer.
No?
Because they haven't told them to look.
It doesn't have any information for display yet. It's just a pure, simple table that holds that information, but we haven't told it yet to show. Remember how many little tiny files we have when we deal with one layer as a shapefile? We have 5. One is a DBF table, and then there's projection, shapes, index, all combined together gives you like a dot on the map. Yeah? We don't have that right now. We only have the data table. We have no other information. We don't know where is 100 Main Street on this map right now. So we have to figure it out. Yeah? We know that we have X, Y coordinates in the table. The second part, what happened is, if you look carefully here to the table of content, usually you look at list by drawing order. Now it actually shows a list by source. For today, if you get into a panic attack, I can't see my data. Check first which display you are in here. Alright? You still can raise your hand and say I need help. But this is the first thing. And I bet I will have at least 2 students run up there and say, hey, you're showing the wrong display. Okay, how does this look like? Let me move this in the middle so you can see this better. If I have the table of content, this is list by display order. This is how we have seen this before. Huh? If I would, for demo purposes, take my cars and drag and drop them in, cars will be added as a layer on top. Huh? And if I show it the right location, cars should pretty much show up. List by source shows where are these data packages located. Huh? Cars are in digitizing and everything else is down in the McDonald's folder. Simple mouse click, a lot of sanity. Huh? That's one of the things where my students usually start freaking out. Don't see the layers, can't shift it around anymore because you can't take this guy here, you can't move it. See that? I click on it, left mouse click down, I can't move it. Here, I can easily drag and drop it like we learned before. No? So be careful with that. I get rid of cars, not to confuse you guys. All right. Let's put this back on the side. Okay. If I want to do the so-called XY event, this is a table. In GIS, right-click is the magic button. Click on here. A few things I've seen before. Open. That is open the attribute table. Yeah? But I also have here geocode addresses, display route events, and display XY data. And it tells you, it adds new map layer based on XY events from a table. The cool part on this is every lat long you can use, any data source you can use. If you deal, let's say, with census data, they come sometimes in a CSV format, comma separated format. You will learn actually today how to deal with that as well. If usually what I have done in the past, if it was a geography or planning class, I would use the TRI, the Toxic Release Information data from the EPA, which has the XY and some other information about every damn, technical term, chemical release like explosions, spills, fumes. Yeah? You wonder why suddenly the sirens are going, the firefighters are running to detect one of the firms. Well, the EPA would actually track that. So they deliver that in a CSV file with XYs. No, you could use the address, but the XY is standard right for the US. Yeah? All right, so we click on this, display XY data, and it pops up here. So we are lucky now that we actually have a field, or two fields, that are called longitude and latitude. If they would have different names, the field map might not pick up automatically on that.
How did you get to that box? Sorry.
Right, click on the table.
Okay, so move McDonald's XY to imagery.
No. Just drag and drop it in. Yeah, imagery, the F5.
Okay. To the map.
Yeah, just add it to the map and then you switch the table of content to list by source. Are you doing okay?
Drag and drop the digitizing.
Click
Complete,
on
right?
here,
Digitizing.
on the box.
Drag and drop this one.
Yeah. And
I'm the one.
just say yes. And
Only the
add the
Only
data
the
table to it.
Oh my god. I just did
Oh, you got it.
I have to refresh.
In our catalog, find data table. Geocoding table we did. Did you download that? Did you download that? This one, exactly. Okay, did you copy it over from your downloads?
just now.
I help you.
Downloads.
Yeah.
Digitizing. My phone.
Here. Let's see.
No, physical, but I mean, I work in real estate. Broker actually in Brazil. We have agents in Brazil.
You have agents?
Yeah.
Okay. If you do that at home sometimes, you need to know that it's X, Y, long, let. Not let long. Everyone was like, yeah, give me the GPS coordinates. What's the let long? No. For this purpose, it's long, let. Otherwise, you tilt the whole thing.
Long
Yeah?
let.
It's long, let.
Not like long.
Not that long. For the purpose of mapping these fields, XY field to long let. And it helps us right now to have the right names in the data table, so we don't have to do that. Also, since we have the imagery loaded up, we don't have to tell it which coordinate system we should use. Because the first layer that you add to your ArcMap project defines your projection. Yeah? So we don't have to go through this, hey, find the projection, World Geographics, what was it? Geographic Coordinate Systems, World, WGS, 1984. You don't need to do that step because the map is already in that format for us. Huh? Then we hit OK. You might also want to check sometimes the about editing XY data, that's the help, which is really, really cool. Yeah? I say cool and he gets shivers. Alright, so if I go back to list by drawing order, you see that there's now the McDonald's XY events. And I have the McDonald's XY events in my typical overview, in my typical layer. And I right click, zoom to layer to make actually show where they are. And for the purpose of showing it in class better, I make really big buttons. And put this on the side. Okay? Something like this we have seen before. Dots on the map. No? However, the complicated part right now is we did build this, but it's just display. Watch, do not do, please. I just killed it without saving. If I look into my our catalog, I have no XY event file anywhere. Yeah. Let's start the imagery again and repeat that step. So you can see, get a repeat and catch up. Right. Using a display XY event means you get the data, display the data, but you need to save it. It's like in digitizing. Open edit session, didn't save your edits, you have a problem. Here, nothing in there. Yeah? So I do the same thing. I find my table, drag and drop it in there. My list by source will change to show me this table here on the side. I right click, I say display XY data, everything lines up perfectly. The advantage of sample data. Yeah? And I hit OK. Change again to list by drawing, find my events, and change in awkward big buttons. And make the zoom to layer to allocate everything I have done. Next, important. Let me show you once, and then we do it a second time, and everyone can click it. I right click on this guy, make sure that I don't have a selection, so nothing like this. Yeah? Make sure that I don't have a selection. I right click here, and then at the bottom, I have data, export data, or save. If I ask you to save your data, that means the export function here. Huh? Are you okay? Yeah, you're shivering. You're showing signs of hypothermia. Not yet. No blue lips.
First case of
Alright. Yeah, people might freeze in these buildings. Okay. I left click on export data, and it'll pop up here. If you happen to have a selection, it will change this here. Yeah? I want to save or export all the features. Coordinate system, I take it from here, and the complicated part is I need to find the location where I want to save it. Look, right now it dumps it into a standard default location. I don't want that. I want to put it on, be more specific, and I want to put it in my place I can find it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm allocating my digitizing exercise and put it here in my McDonald's folder. And be careful, right now you see at the bottom, that's the confusing part. It shows it as file a personal cheer database. I'm not saving it as that. I'm saving it as a shape file. So I need to make sure that the type is clear. And I call it MCDXY. Hello, XY, not XY. Oh, you're ruining my day. Okay. MCD XY. Confirm that. And you should see all features, this layer, source data, and the location you want to save that into your McDonald's regular folder and call it MCD XY. Everyone got that? Fire. Do I want to put that on a map? Sure. Alright. So now I have two McDonald's layers. One is my XY display event, and the other one is the physically created, I see a coming, physically created layer. And if I go back in catalog and do refresh, I now see my MCD XY. Or in any location you want to place it. No? To make confusion less, I remove my XY event layer. Because it's only display.
Events?
Yeah, remove events.
How do you refresh?
Right click.
F5 or right click. Hi. Well, you did events, but you're in display source. If you go here and say oh. See that? You have like 2,000 decimal degrees. So let's do this again. So we take a sample. You're doing, by the way, we're doing McDonald's data, not the geocode samples. We're using it on the data table. This is
Who's supposed to send it? You were
display on that coordinate system. See that?
Move it.
Use the workspace.
refresh.
That's okay.
I press F5.
In our catalog. Okay?
So why did you say to remove the McDonald's events?
Because it's display only. And you now you actually have the MCD XY.
Okay, got it.
That is the hard-coded existing files.
Okay.
Yeah? To show you this, if I'm going inside my folder with the File Explorer, this now, all this, is your McDonald's XY. The green dots on the map right now are all these little files. But you also see that there's here a DBF table.
Okay.
Yeah? Alright. That's a very cool tool. Yeah? It's very helpful. Let's save this as a name so we actually can come back sometime.
Can we do that one more time?
Save as.
Can we do that one more time?
But,
The whole thing, man.
yeah, but with a different tool.
Okay.
Are you excited about XY events? Okay. Alright, let me call it MCD XY.
What did you say, the map?
Yeah. Yeah. So we can come back to it. Alright, the other way to do this,
What did you, you saved it under what?
I call the whole project MCD XY. Yeah,
Save it.
in your digitizing folder. Alright? Want to do something cool?
What's it?
Close dark map.
That's the coolest thing ever.
So if I look at my digitizing folder, yeah, we did, let's do this again.
What digitizing folder?
Our catalog.
How do I create a geo database? A geo database.
Like the shape file?
That corner is very quiet this
Shape
morning.
file? Like,
Wait, repeat what you asked?
How do I create a geo database? All right, let's repeat this again. In the folder, I would like to create a geo database. I right-click on top of the folder.
new file database.
I say new, and I take the file geo database, or GDB. Take a breath, because it takes a moment, and I call this whole thing mcd.gdb. Actually, just type in mcd and it will rename it automatically.
Can you repeat?
One more time?
One more time.
On the folder you want to locate your geo database, you right click, you hit new, you go down here and say file geo database. Yeah? Create it and you name it, and you should get that can symbol. Okay? So everything in a geo database is like a container. Alright, everyone got that? Everyone has produced a geo database.
Okay, file geo, I'm sorry. After you hit new, then file geo database?
New file geo database, exactly. In the case that you do this, you trigger happy and do this like that.
Yeah.
You can rename that. Just gently click on it, or here on the side, just gently click on it, and type in whatever, however you want to call it. You also can use your trigger finger to hit delete and confirm, and you just destroyed a year of work by accident if you don't do backups. Okay?
How do
Maybe
you
not
want
a
to call
year,
it?
but half the semester.
MCD.
Yeah? All right, please open up a channel, create a file-based geodatabase called MCD. All right?
We need.
Let's go back up to the table, our McDonald's XY DBF. All right? Everyone sees that? Everyone has that? Then you look.
I'm sorry.
Monica, please look at this.
McDonald's.
So in my folder McDonald's, I left click on the McDonald's xy.dbf. Alright? I right click on it. I have a tool that has geocode addresses, but I know I don't really have good addresses in there. But then there is this function called create feature class from XY table. And if you keep it like that, it will pop up and says, create a point feature using the XY locations. Yeah? And it tells you a little bit more. New feature class will contain 1 point for each record in a table. Cool, let's do it. So I left click on it. Thank you for letting us know that X is longitude and Y is latitude. Yeah? And the catch here now is that I actually should tell the system here what kind of coordinate system. I'll show this again. I click here, coordinate system of input coordinates. I need to go back and say coordinate systems, world, and we default this to this one.
1984, right?
Yeah. A new thing, I right click it, one single right click, and say add to favorites. It's a shortcut. No more searching. You just save 15 seconds. Huh?
How do
and hit OK.
Mine is right this one.
Then I also need to tell the system where to save. Everyone got the coordinates? Yeah? There was one question. Who was that? Are you okay?
No, but it's okay. I'll follow with whoever's.
Sure?
Yeah, because I don't have launch. It's a third computer, so don't worry about it. Without waiting
You
for.
keep destroying our computers here.
I have Windows. I haven't touched anything. I can't even log in.
Is that the one that didn't connect last week?
This one was the last week in that one, and this is the third one, but this one doesn't have longitude and latitude on the display X, Y data, and we did it 3 times.
Alright, all we're going to do is we're doing a short break and I can help you with that. And if that computer hasn't been fixed, I'm going to be very charming at the front desk. Alright, so long that coordinate system is clear. Everyone clicks on here, finds it in the coordinate system, world, WGS 1984, or right click and add it to the favorites. If you did so, you just activate that. That is really convenient. Now, we can do that for the data use for Broward County, which is a different projection, or for a GIS project, so you don't have to search all the time. And now you have to find the location output where you want to save it. Well, we go to folder connections here, the whole mess, find our folder connection to our jump drive, and here we go, the MCD GDB. And I want to save that into the MCD. Actually, double click it. I'm inside that can, and I automatically renames it as XY, McDonald's XY. So it adds an XY here to it to let us know automatically. I just created that for you. And then hit save.
So it shows it has the coordinate.
You don't say that in shapefile?
No, we're going to save it as a feature class. Everything inside layers inside a geodatabase we call feature class. They are a little bit more friendly. They're younger. The shapefile is legacy stuff almost.
Sorry, can you do that again, please?
Yeah.
And then I would hit OK. In the case I want to use XY events for this from a table in our catalog, I right click, go to create feature class from XY table. Now, it's almost a sentence. I want to create a feature class from a XY table. That's kind of that workflow. Click on this. My table is friendly, the system understands, so it will take long lat for XY. I go into the coordinate system, it remembered my favorites, I select WGS 1984, click OK. I will need to know where I want to save that feature class. Therefore, I'm looking for my folder connections, find my digitizing folder in which I'm doing my work today, click on that. I have 2 geodatabases in here, the digitized from last week and the MCD we just created moments ago. I double click the MCD and then I save. I can change the file name, but for the purposes of this exercise we don't. Hit save. So this is the form you should see in its complete. We're going to create a feature class from an XY table feeding the long and the lat as XY on our defined coordinate system, on our defined location. Everything else will be fine. And we execute with a gentle press on the OK. Ta-da!
Okay, I'm not able to press OK.
So this is very quick. This was like, what, 65 features. If you have 100,000, it will take a little bit. First the little one I'm going to use. That looks okay.
I think that I have my MCD for her. I'm gonna put her in the wrong one. Because when
That's
I come
okay.
here, save, it says.
Got good notes over there now.
Trying. I take notes so that I didn't.
Yeah, right.
So I get lost, so.
Do you read the presentation or do you think
Thought you were going to save it outside of the MCD, so now you're going to save it.
like what did you use?
Yeah. When I missed the first 2 hours, it was the last class.
Hi.
I came there and
Okay.
there's some
You just have to select the squares. Yep, fine. Okay. And then you need to select the location where you want to save it. Folder connections.
It's not working otherwise.
I
And then do it now. I can't even.
Okay.
Do the other one. Hold down.
Okay. You just created a new layer of feature, in this case a feature class. If I go in here now, we save it and the MCD. MCD now has a new feature class called the XY McDonald's XY. And if I do preview, I have a physical location, physical file. Super quick, super fast. Didn't even have to open ArcMap for that, because I knew all the input factors for the recipe. Yeah? So would you do XY event in the map or in our catalog then? If I ask you to create a new feature class using XY in a table. Which way? Our catalog. It's slick, is it? Yeah. All right, cool. 3-minute break.
Yes.
Like Lily, move, bathroom.
I cannot take you.
Are you prepared for the test?
I don't have a test, but yeah, good luck, guys.
Huh? It's gonna be fine. Trust me. You just tell me.
We have those
Questionnaire, it's fine. Hey, you're a friend. I want to be your friend. I want to be friend of your friend.
1%. The bar will go to Phil. Your team is good though. And that's like LA.
Like the 3 worst. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. When I saw that, I was pretty shocked during this.
We did it 3 times.
Yeah, geocode 7. What's the data I'm using? Which table are we using?
You found that. You found that.
Drag it into the.
Using the table McDonald's XY
Are you ready for this?
geocode.
I tried studying.
I mean, I've been going over this stuff like basically the whole week.
That's insane.
I know.
Okay, I did it like the other way.
I wrote it all
before.
down, so I have all my answers are like, you're not in it, right?
No.
All my answers are like perfect written down, so I'm like trying to remember what I wrote.
This one, if you look at this, this one has like long form.
I'm gonna do the second last round final.
Sample.
Like,
Doesn't have it.
No
there was a fire.
Sample for the XY table, that's what.
You'll be in class. You will learn.
McDonald's XY. Did you know that? Display XY data. Bing, 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 bing. And you have your XY events.
What was your reaction in space?
Yeah. Bing, 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 all over the place. Now you would save that as data, export data, with the name called McDonald's SHP. Yeah? In here, you would call that type. What's it called? I didn't say that. So you would call it McDonald's XY. Or
Get away from Splay.
XY values. No?
I gotta turn something.
And save. And then you edit. And to make sure that you don't mess around because it's at the end, the end, sometimes you don't see it. You actually move it. to make it clean.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, once you move it, still stays there.
Yeah, but now it's well because you have two overlap. Breathe. Yeah. Same thing here. In our catalog, then what you do is you just right click on here, create feature class.
I'm not gonna let it ruin my week.
The whole procedure, and you save it in
And I'm like tempted. Should I?
Um,
No. My
the
God.
location.
I need to
value.
like this me. I click and everything.
I don't even. I'm going through the whole
Alright.
week not looking at it. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Especially if it's before a weekend. I was like, nope, it's gonna fuck up my weekend. Better fuck up my Monday. So it's like,
Times together.
All right.
where's my snacks? You're slacking. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was up since 5 trying to study.
I didn't ask you for your personal problems after I wore my snacks. I asked for details here. I said, where are my snacks?
And they always said the best people are from New York.
So all the haters are from Florida. Though. Damn.
I'm not.
I need to.
I'm from the east side, you know? Middle East.
Wow, take your joke and get out of here, please.
What? 3 minutes up. So that was pretty much XY event. Yeah? So now you actually learn 2 different ways. If someone gives you a table that has X, Y, or that long coordinates in it, you can actually put that on your map. You can process that data into a shapefile or into a feature class. That means you can use all the tools from that system of GIS. Yeah? Want to do it?
Yeah, can't wait. I'm good.
Okay. Let's open up our imagery file again.
Are we still gonna have our bookmarks and stuff when we open it up?
Yep, should have. You should. Oh, I got to do all the notes of this one. Yep, fresh start. Let's wait a moment until it loads. Why ain't it coming up? See that? Still down there. That's okay, you can. You're nervous about the return?
that?
Yeah, I'm half deaf on the right one, but on the left one I'm okay. Alright,
Are we not supposed
guys,
to be? I'm confused.
for site planning class,
No.
there's nothing on that exam we did not talk about in depth. So, site planning class, if I kept talking about certain things 50 times in the class, it's probably in some form maybe on it. Okay, reflect. How many times I mentioned something 50 times? There are not many things I mentioned 50 times, or dedicated special time for it. Breathe. There are a few folks of you in here that had the site planning class with me before. They are doing all okay. Okay? Violet vote. Alright, let's right click here.
I'm not.
I
Have to go back. I feel like my heart is right here.
Let's check if you have an internet connection.
No.
It appears that my computer doesn't have an internet connection. Do you have internet?
No.
Here we go.
No.
Alright, if that's the case,
The last folder that we did?
bookmark, browse.
Go to the folder that you just made.
Okay.
You need it, right? I don't need you to freak out.
That's a new one.
Let me just insert the girl.
Excuse me, you just open a new one?
Yeah, let's do this again. In our catalog, I just clicked on an open imagery.file. So we have internet, so what we're going to do now is we're going to deal with selections. And we start with the selections by attribute table, or by selection by attribute. Like we did last week, we did the cars with red, white, and other colors, and we could select them manually. We are now actually asking our computer to select for us, yeah? Because we have a little bit more data than just 5 items. And if you remember right, our McDonald's table had more than just McDonald's locations, yeah? We had this feature called the Nikes code. Okay, why are you? That's fine. So this is our location where we're at.
Oh, so what am I looking
For the purpose of playing with selection data, we are going to go to, in our catalog, to the Geo database we call MCD, and use the file we just created, the XY McDonald's XY. Okay? And we can drag and drop this guy into the map or our table of content. If you do it like me, you just need to arrange here. You're in the list by drawing order. You need to arrange this so you actually pop this up in front and make a very distinct symbol color. And I can manually zoom out or just say zoom to layer. Alright? Something we have seen before. Right now, in terms of symbology, I have point features on the map and I'm using a circle as a marker or symbology. Yeah? I could change that and say I use a triangle. And the reason why I'm using a triangle is so you don't tell me now this is that point. Yeah? So to make this really distinct, this is the marker symbol of the point underneath it. Yeah? All right.
Say that again, it's a marker symbol of the point.
It's the marker symbol of the point underneath it. Because I can change that symbol all the time. The only way I can change that point would be in an edit session, like add one or delete one. No? This is the pure location. So that's the reason when I double click on this one, we go to symbology, it says symbol, yeah? Nothing else.
Wait.
I'm interested in the data inside. So I take a look here at the attribute table. And that's a view we have seen in similar fashion before in our catalog. Come on. Nice. In similar fashion in our catalog and or in our digitized exercise. Alright. I know that the Nikes code here, N-A-I-C-S, is like the VIN number for my businesses. Yeah? Even if you would not know that the 72251117 is the Nikes code for a fast food restaurant with dine-in and take-out options. Yeah? Even if you would not know that, the company name to the far left gives you an idea that you have different businesses. because there's, I think, also a hardware store included. Yeah? If you scroll down, there was a hardware store. All right. So, how to do that? If I want to select now by attributes, I can go in, let's make the arrangements here for you so you can see both. I can use this button here, select by attributes, or I can go up here to selection and I see those two guys we're dealing with. Just for training purposes, I take this first and then we can do the other one. And I get this pop-up, select by attributes. This is part of the chapters and textbook, so you should have seen this already. But we haven't really addressed it yet in class. I see usually multiple layers, if I have multiple layers included. Right now we only have one. I can choose the type of selection, create a new one, add to the current one, remove from the current one, or select from the current one. Let that sink in. I can create a new one. Create a new one. I can take two more and add to the selection. Yeah? I can also say, I remove from the current selection, let's say like this. Yeah? Or I can select from the current selection and just take a subsample. Yes, please.
I don't have the layer.
You did create that.
Yeah. Yeah, but right, but I guess I'm not selecting it right.
If I get time, you wanna get that.
Yeah.
Table. You gotta bring up the table.
Oh.
Here?
Yeah.
Our catalog.
I'm gonna forget all this stuff. I'm like,
You okay? Okay. Open up this.
so.
Okay.
No.
And then you add the XY and both XY to
Digest all the book, all the chapters.
Actually, you never know.
It's like a reference
Yeah.
book.
So
You have
this
to
is the new
have.
one. Take this.
If you really want to get to it, you really have to go to the next one.
And then go to our catalog. Our catalog.
You have to take the time to actually go through all this stuff.
And drag and drop the XY MCD in there. XY.
Yeah, you have to actually practice.
And then zoom to the radar, so you find it. Let's just right click on it. Right click on this one. And say zoom to the radar, move up our count. Yeah, make arrangements for symbology so you can see this. Hello!
How did you get there from here?
I wanted to have.
Say what?
How did you get this screen to select by attribute?
Go to selection.
Here?
Selection. Up, 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 up.
Up, up, up.
Up.
Where am I going? Up.
Up. Above the plus
Oh,
sign.
right.
Okay. So to make our life simple, we are dealing only with new selections for today.
Which one?
New selections. Create new selection. Okay? If I look here, in this menu here, I see all the field names I've seen earlier. Yeah? I'm going to find the field name called Nikes.
Nice.
Nikes. Yeah? I just click on it, simple. One simple click. And then I go and get unique values. North American Industrial Code System. So if I click on this, it loads all the numbers in here, in this preview.
Is that where you can delete the things that are not McDonald's?
We're not going to delete the other things that are not McDonald's. We're going to select the real McDonald's. At least that's what I called it last night. Yeah. The real McDonald's. The real McDonald's. All right. So, down here, this is the complicated part. Because it's tech language.
Tag language.
We're going to use something that's called the structured query language, SQL. Yeah? Or a select statement. Mind blown.
No.
Yeah? What
Mind
does
blown.
this say is basically I select star, that's everything, from my current layer, yeah, XY, McDonald's, XY, where everything I put in this window right now is going to be true. If I want to select all the students in this room that wear classes right now, I need to say I want to select everyone from this classroom where students equals classes.
What about like income?
Well, income is student personal. Classes is obvious. Yeah? So we don't have to tell that Danilo makes $5 million more a year than do. So, so we're going to write this, or we double click it. So if I want to select everything that is a real McDonald's by its Nikes code, I will double click Nikes. And it comes down there. I can also type it in if I'm really sure that this is, I want to type it. So I can type in Nikes. Then I do a space. Now, and I keep pronouncing that because it's really tricky. If you don't use that, the system doesn't know. It's like a foreign language. Yeah? When I say equal space, and I know that this code right now here, that number, in that single quote, see that? There's a little single quote in front of it, as we call it. And I just double click that. What's so funny about the next code? I'm going to separate you
No,
guys.
everything on her screen just blew up. Like, literally.
It's zoomed in, that's it.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Okay, so I end with Nikes equals, and then that code number, and easy to find, it's ending with 117. You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I accidentally.
Literally everything just
Hey, back in the days with Windows 95, you got a blue screen. For 5 minutes you couldn't do anything because you had to reboot. So, and all the data was lost. All right. I am going to hit apply. Not okay. And I'll move this on the side a little bit. If you hit apply, you execute that search statement or select statement. I want to select everything that fits into that category of Nikes equals that code number. If I do that, you get a bunch of selections down here. See that highlighted area now? Yeah. You also have highlighted area, highlighted items in your table. Let's move this side by side so you can see this even better. And it tells you 59 out of the 68 are selected. So if you move that window away, you will see that there are a bunch of green triangles still not selected. I can go and scroll up and down, and I see selection in bluish and non-selected still in white. Okay? So instead of manually selecting, clicking through the table, I now just had a very cool way to say, hey, because I know your VIN number, your ID number, or your Nikes code, I can select you by that. Okay? How would I create a new file from this? How would I export the data? I would right click, data, selection of data, no, data, export data, click on that, Now it pops up as selected features.
Wait, what?
All right, I repeat that.
Yes, please.
Where? Oh.
Right now, if I have those selected ones, yeah, I basically said, hey, everything on this table I'm interested in, I'm only taking this folder, highlighted folder. How do I create a new feature class from that folder? Well, I tell everything on the table, I'm going to export this to put it in the other system. Yeah? So, same thing here. I right click, I say data, export data. It says again, save this layer's data as a shapefile or geodatabase feature class. Export data. It says now here selected features. Now remember we had beginning only all features and in the event extent. Now we have selected features. And I find my location where I want to save it. I'm switching, find my MCD, so this is in digitizing. Why don't I see my MCD right now? No?
Shapefile.
Because I'm looking at the type of shapefiles. If you see all these green icons and .shp, you're looking at the view, the wrong view. So you need to change here the type into file and personal geodatabase feature classes. Now you have the MCD. Double click, you see our originally generated file, and then we have something that we call the real MCD.
What does MCD stand for?
McDonald's. No. And I hit OK. And I hit OK.
I lost it.
We'll repaint that. And I added.
Wait.
Go back in there.
Okay.
Change save file to.
Then you save your
And then go to
File.
first one. There you go.
Click that one.
Well, go up one more.
Yeah.
Oh, select this one.
Open it.
We double click it or no?
Yeah. There you go. Now save this as real MC.
All right, who else has questions?
He's good.
Thank you.
Yep, real MCDs. He did that in McDonald's. Yep, there you go.
Okay.
First one is
Go ahead and save it. Yep. MCD.
I have to click.
And you've got to get into the camera. Then you call it real MCD.
Does this have any kind of UV? No.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, that's where you call it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah,
That's one, but there are.
No, that's weird because I have.
Yeah, it's not important anymore because you just
All right, we're going to do that again.
the blue areas
So your other one.
is what they took from the table
What we did is
and
we
create
did
a
selection,
new table.
select
So
items
the new table
from
this
the
one
McDonald's file.
is gonna have just from the number 6 to the number like, I don't know, you know, the blue area. Probably it's gonna ask us to
Instead of
I mean,
typing,
you should still have the
because
other
this
one.
one
I can't tell because.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it. I saw it.
business like Allen, McDonald.
Both your things are checked.
For example, this one, we don't need these for our job. If you're working on McDonald's, just the blue ones like that.
Can you see your old points?
into your MCD.
Yeah, she can see her old points too.
See?
I cannot see my old points.
Happened last time.
No.
Are you thinking
like the yellow ones?
I was thinking about the hotel or something.
See what happened?
And
They're all exactly the same. Professor, I have a question. For some reason, I was not able to. I got this thing done right, but the data that's coming over here, it's overlapping with the other.
For
It doesn't have like the distinctive.
did you save the location?
Just for
Did you
analysis.
save the selection? When you save the file, the exported data, did you save the selection? Show me.
Just for analysis. Real estate analysis.
No. Alright. Go back to list by display. Right click on your XY. Say data. Export data. Select the features. Okay, fine. Then find the location how you want to call it. Real MCD. In this case, call it Real MCD 2. And hit save. Hit OK. And say yes. Okay, now right click on the Real MCD 2. Right click on the screen. No, keep the table open. Right click on it. On the layer. And open the attribute table. You're 59.
So what is that? How many were there already?
59, 68.
What did we do wrong? What did I do wrong the first time?
What, ma'am?
Yes. What? Why are they still?
Oh, and that's you? Oh, I know the Cowboys are going. Oh, shit.
So those are gone. So that's fine.
20 years. Excuse me?
Let's do a refresh.
Where were you last?
And it's
It would be recovered since 2000.
huh.
When's the last time you won a playoff? Us? What's that? Are you
Ah, you know why?
Has something to do with that one, right?
Because you're underneath the world.
Great move, bringing Chip Kelly in.
Yep, we're there. Yep.
Bringing like
Okay.
No, I was, I'm.
Ah,
So I can go around.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, there you go.
No, this is there.
There you go.
okay. Nice. Here's the show. This is important stuff. Alright. I'm going to unselect everything. Clear selection. This button. Yeah? Alright, so what else could I select in here? If I look, I'll say, hey, I have city in here. Let's do the same thing with city. Yeah? I could go in and say, I do this again from the scratch. I can go do select by attribute here from the selection menu, or I can, too many clicks already, or I can go here on this icon that says select by attribute. This is a little bit quicker because you don't have to move around the corner. Yeah? If you have dual screens at home or at work, you might actually have that table somewhere on the second screen. So if you do data management, you end up actually doing all these little shortcuts here. GIS people are lazy. I was literally told by my former boss, copy and paste, don't type on coding. And then coders have autocomplete, like we have on our texts. Yeah? So ding, 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 code with the left hand, right click with the mouse. Yeah? All right, so if I would like to select all McDonald's in the city of Plantation, how would I do that?
Plantation City.
Select by attribute. Select city.
I would go here and say select by attribute. I would create a new selection, would find city, double click for adding it down there or type. If I'm not 100% sure what's going on with my data, I can click here, get unique values. Yeah? And I could scroll down here for plantation and double click. So now you see all that. City just got replaced with plantation.
Wait.
So I'm messing up my code. Yeah?
Mine's not.
Mine did. So what I also can do is I can type this in again. I also
City. What was plantation?
What do you do, apply?
give me one moment.
Yes, well,
Wait, what? What do you mean?
find out exactly.
I'm also, this is the beauty of this. For all the work you do, class or professional, usually you take notes, don't you? So,
Well,
man.
oh, here. You can take notes here.
Revolution.
Nice.
I also can use that sole statement as a text file. So I can actually predefine this and say city equals single tick plantation. Was it capitalized or not? Remember?
No.
No.
Okay. It might matter.
That matters.
Yes,
Alright? So let's say you have that in a Word document or an email. Huh? I can highlight this, Control C as Charlie for copy, Control V as paste, boop, hit apply. And now I have 4 McDonald's located in the city of Plantation. You see that?
What if yours is just not applying it? Wait a minute. Oh,
Wait for it. You also can go in here and say show only selected records, so I see my 4 from the city of Plantation.
You can do this with sales and everything as well, depends what kind of data you have. Or not.
Exactly, next step. Like, you guys are going to sit next week in the front.
Yes.
Because I'm walking miles. I'm not complaining about the
The exercise
City plantation, apply.
You already selected it. You already have 4 selections.
That's 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought this magically does something.
No, you're funny. You're looking at the wrong layer.
I don't have any.
You want to select X, Y, McDonald's, and you're looking at the real MCD.
Okay, so.
You're getting trapped right now that we're actually looking at, we have multiple layers in the field.
Okay, so come here.
Yep. Okay. Please note that you need to check that this is the table down here from the one you're working with. Yeah? Because you can have a selection on the computer screen like in the map here, and I'm looking at the wrong table. Let's say this is the real MCD. If I look at this one, I'm like 0 out of 59. But I have selections on the map. Like, oh, what's going on? Well, you're looking at the wrong table. So if you're looking at the right table, see that? You can actually stack them here. You have the selections. So be careful with that. All right. So this is how I select the city of Plantation. Cash made a comment about sales value, volume. What does he mean with sales? Well, I have employee numbers and sales volume. Yeah? Also, you can see, if you use the wheel, that we messed up. We used actually the XY McDonald's. You see that?
Yeah.
We actually selected a L McDonald. And you know why?
Yeah, because we
didn't clean this up. Alright?
you should
We
do
should.
in the Rio
How do we
McDonald's.
clean up now?
Wait. Let's clear the selection, X out. Let's take a look at this. What did we do before?
real.
We dealt with the selection of the real MCD. Huh? And then we select plantation. Let's keep it simple. Do one selection, save it, now we deal with the pure selected part instead of combining that. Combining, we play with this next week. I do the same thing again with the real MCD. Right click on it, open the attribute table. And in the real MCD, I double check that the company's names are only McDonald's. Fine, good. I do the same selection process. Selection here with attribute or just that icon. And I type in city equals plantation. I actually still have that in copy and paste. I can just hit that like that. And you can do this multiple times if you have, let's say, a WordPad.